Dear one, stop what you are doing for just a moment. Do you feel that? A quiet warmth, rising softly in your chest. Like something is shifting even though nothing around you has changed. That feeling is not random. That feeling has a name, and by the end of this message, you will know exactly what it means. If you feel this stirring inside you right now, or simply type "love is here," let that be your way of saying, I am here, and I am open to receive this. You have been sensing something for a while now. A pull, a hope you did not fully understand. Maybe you brushed it off as wishful thinking. Maybe you told yourself not to get your hopes up. But dear one, that quiet knowing inside you has never once been wrong. It has just been waiting for the right moment to be confirmed. There is a season for everything under the sky. A season for waiting and a season for receiving. A season for standing alone and a season for finally being held. You have lived through the waiting season. You have carried yourself through lonely nights, through quiet mornings where you wondered if anyone truly saw you. You held yourself together when no one else was there to do it for you. And through all of that, something in you never gave up on love. That is why this moment belongs to you now. Someone out there has been carrying your name in their heart. Not in a small way, not as a passing thought, but as something steady and deep. They have thought about you more than they have let on. They have imagined what it would feel like to finally close the distance between you, to stop hiding what they feel, and to simply hold you close. They have pictured this moment more times than they could count. And now, something inside them has shifted from imagining to moving. This person is tired of waiting, tired of the distance, tired of holding their feelings inside where no one can see them. They want to feel safe near you, and they want you to feel just as safe near them. What is coming is not a simple hello. It is the kind of embrace that softens years of hurt. The kind that says, without a single word, I am here now, and I am not going anywhere. This is not only about feelings. This is about timing, the kind of timing that cannot be rushed or forced, only trusted. There truly is a time for every purpose. A time to be far apart and a time to finally come close. You have walked through your lonely season with more strength than you probably give yourself credit for. Now that season is turning. You will not have to carry things alone the way you once did, because someone is being led straight to you. This person understands parts of your story that you have never spoken out loud. They sense your quiet strength. They are drawn to your presence in a way that goes beyond logic, beyond simple attraction. Something deeper is guiding them. Their thoughts return to you again and again, no matter how hard they try to focus on other things. They have tried to distract themselves, tried to stay busy, tried to convince themselves it is nothing. But it has not worked because what is pulling them toward you is stronger than distraction. They may not have met you yet, or they may already know you and simply have not said what they feel. Either way, they have missed your energy. They have missed the peace that seems to follow you. They have missed your light, even if they could not put it into words. And now they are closer than you think, moving faster than you expected. What comes next will not be a text message. It will not be a phone call. It will be a real embrace, face to face, heart to heart. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. Before we begin, a heartfelt thank you to dear Sharon, Ryan, and Ginger Carmen for sowing a seed for Soulmate through your Ko-Fi super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you every step of your journey. Thank you for your beautiful support. Let's know what angels want us to know. You are not imagining this. You are not making it up in your mind to feel better. You are sensing something that is genuinely unfolding, and the universe wants you to trust that sense fully. You are not overthinking this. You are simply awake to what is already happening. This person feels it too, even if they cannot fully explain it to the people around them. They feel pulled toward the one whose spirit matches theirs. The one who feels like peace after a long storm. That one is you. They may not have always known it, but they know it now, and they are done running from it. Whatever held them back before is starting to fall away. Whatever confused them is beginning to clear. Whatever delayed them is dissolving, little by little, and in its place, courage is rising. Real, quiet courage that will carry them the rest of the way to you. So take a breath, dear one, and get ready. You will not be alone for much longer. You will not have to keep guessing or imagining what it might feel like, because soon you will be living it, wrapped in warmth, held gently, covered in peace. Do not be afraid, and do not let discouragement settle in. You are not walking through this alone. There is a strength holding you up even in moments you cannot feel it, and that same strength is guiding this other person, step by step, straight into your life. This connection is being supported and steadied by something far bigger than either of you could arrange on your own. If any part of this is touching something deep inside you, let yourself feel it fully. You do not have to explain it or justify it to anyone. Just breathe and let yourself believe that what is coming is real. They are not coming with empty hands. They are coming with warmth, with peace, with answers to questions you have carried quietly for a long time. They may never have told you this directly, but they have been longing to see you in person, longing to close whatever gap has kept you apart, longing simply to feel you near. They have gone through their own quiet battles too. Battles with fear, with doubt, with wondering if they were truly enough for someone like you. But slowly, gently, they have been healing one layer at a time, and every bit of that healing has brought them closer to you. You were never forgotten in all of this. You were simply being prepared the same way they were being prepared. Love that is this real does not arrive early or late. It arrives exactly on time, when both hearts are finally ready to receive it. And dear one, that timing is becoming clearer with every passing day. They have thought about reaching out to you. They have typed messages and deleted them before hitting send. They have looked back at old photos of you more than once. There may have been nights they quietly wished they could simply appear beside you, just to feel close for a moment. And now that quiet wish is turning into real movement. They are tired of feeling distant, tired of pretending it does not hurt to be apart, tired of acting like they do not care, when the truth is, they care more than they have let on. There is a kind of spiritual acceleration happening right now, one that is smoothing the path ahead of both of you. What might have once taken months is happening in a much shorter time, because the way forward is being made straight. You are being watched over and cared for, and so is this other person. Whatever hesitation or fear or overthinking has held them back is being gently worked through, so they can finally step into your life and, eventually, into your arms. Can you picture that moment? The one where everything around you seems to go quiet, and all you feel is arms around you, strong, steady, and safe. No words needed, just breath, just presence, just the quiet knowing that this moment was always meant to happen. Anything that ever tried to delay it is losing its power now, and closeness, the kind you have longed for, is finally on its way. There is no need to be afraid of what this feeling means. You do not have to be shaken by the not knowing of when or how it will unfold. There is a quiet strength holding you steady through all of it, ready to help you, ready to support you, even in the parts of this waiting that feel heaviest. That same steady hand is guiding this whole story, gently making sure nothing about it is left to chance. Long before you ever felt this pull, this connection was already known. Some things are simply written into a story before we are even old enough to understand them. In the same quiet way you were known before you took your first breath, this bond between you and this other person was already understood, already gently planned, long before either of you were ready to notice it. That is why it feels so much bigger than a simple coincidence. It never was one. The steps this person is taking toward you are not random or scattered. They are being guided, ordered carefully, the way a good path is laid out one step at a time. So do not let a slow start make you doubt where things are headed. Do not let quiet stretches convince you that nothing is happening. What is meant for you is already in motion, and it is moving with steady, gentle purpose, even on the days it feels completely still. This kind of love, the kind that is real and lasting, tends to hold on through everything. It stays patient, keeps believing the best. It endures, even when things are hard or uncertain. This person is choosing to show up for you with that same kind of patience, meeting you with steady presence instead of fear, choosing faith over hesitation, again and again, until they finally arrive. You may not have noticed every quiet sign along the way, but something inside you has been sensing that things are shifting, even if you could not always explain how. This person is being drawn to you not by chance or by charm, but by something that feels far more intentional than either of those things. That is why they have felt restless. That is why something in them has changed. That is why they now feel ready to move mountains, quietly and steadily, just to finally reach you. Even the parts of their journey that felt uncertain or messy were not wasted time. They were simply part of a slower kind of shaping, the sort that takes a little longer but tends to build something sturdier in the end. Whatever confusion they walked through before finding their way to you was never a sign that things were falling apart. It was simply part of how this whole story was quietly coming together, piece by piece, until it was ready to reach you. Their silence, if there has been any, is beginning to soften. Whatever noise once distracted them is quieting down, and what remains is a simple, steady pull toward you, and only you. Nothing shallow will satisfy that pull any longer, not distraction, not old patterns, not anything less than something real. What they are looking for was never meant to be temporary. It was always meant to be something lasting, something worth holding on to for good. This connection was never random or accidental. This is a spiritual homecoming, similar to the old story of someone returning home while still far off, only to be met with open arms and pure relief. That is the kind of embrace headed your way. A love that runs to meet you. A love that covers what needs healing. You have waited with patience. You have loved quietly, even when others could not understand why you kept believing. Now that patience is being met. So do not push this moment away when it comes. Do not question whether you deserve it. Do not talk yourself out of receiving something good. Let yourself soak it in fully. Let their presence remind you that good things you have hoped for do not simply vanish, even after a long wait. They are closer than you think, and when that embrace finally happens, something will shift and open in both of you at once. That hug will not just be a single moment. It will feel like a doorway into the next chapter of your life. This other person has wrestled with their own doubts too, fought through their own confusion, and struggled with timing just as much as you have. But somewhere along the way, They came to understand that they would simply know when it was time to finally hold you. And that time is arriving now. They are not coming to impress you or to perform for you. They are coming to be fully honest, to finally let their guard down, as if their whole spirit has been holding its breath and is now ready to exhale. When that embrace happens, you will likely feel a rush of emotion. Old fears melting, years of waiting collapsing into this one present moment. A quiet whisper inside you saying, "This is safe. This is mine." For a long time, you have been the strong one for everyone else, holding yourself together, smiling even while quietly longing for something more. This embrace, when it comes, will be the place where you can finally soften, finally let a little bit of that strength rest, and still feel completely whole. It will not be rushed. It will not feel demanding. It will simply linger, the way real, patient love always does, comforting without needing to fix anything. Dear soul, before we continue with today's angel message, I'd like to invite you into a small but meaningful act of faith for your soulmate journey. Love is one of heaven's greatest gifts, yet every precious connection can face moments of uncertainty, fear, or unseen negativity. If your heart feels led to place your soulmate connection into God's loving hands, you can sow your seed through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. As you give, let your seed become a heartfelt intention of hope, inviting the angels to surround you and your soulmate with divine protection, healing, wisdom, and perfect timing. May your connection continue to grow under God's guidance, strengthened by love, peace, and His everlasting light. The Bible reminds us that every act of generous giving is an expression of faith. Proverbs 11 verse 25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." And Acts 20 verse 35 reminds us, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." When we give with a joyful heart, we honor God and place our trust in His perfect plan. If you feel called to sow this seed today, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May God bless your generosity, strengthen your soulmate bond, and fill your life with love, favor, and heavenly peace. Now, let's continue with today's angel message. You will not need to explain yourself or prove anything in that moment. Their presence alone will say what words could never fully capture. It will feel like being truly seen, truly enough, truly chosen for exactly who you are. This closeness will help quiet old wounds. It will soften harsh memories. It will speak gently of forgiveness, of a fresh start, and of a future that finally feels open again. That moment will not feel ordinary. It will feel sacred, the kind of moment that seems to slow down time itself, where everything around you softens and the only thing that matters is the closeness you are finally allowed to feel. You endured a lot to get here. You trusted even when it was hard. And what is coming will move toward you faster than fear can argue against it, and gentler than any doubt could ever resist. You will likely feel it first as a quiet knowing inside you, then almost like a physical sense of readiness, and then, finally, in the embrace itself. When it happens, you will simply know. This is the one your spirit has been quietly whispering about all along. So do not run from it and do not sabotage the moment when it arrives. Let the embrace be your confirmation. Let it be the soft, undeniable yes you have been waiting for. When it comes, let go and receive it fully. This time, you will not have to wonder, chase, or beg for love to notice you. You will simply be held, and that will be more than enough. It will feel like a kind of protection, a kind of purpose, and above all, it will feel like home. This closeness is not just about romance either. It is about alignment, about two paths finally meeting after being shaped separately for a long time. This person will hold you as if they have been quietly longing for your nearness for a very long time, as if their spirit has finally found rest. It will feel like something healing after a long storm, like your heart finally settling into stillness. Because in truth, they are not just reaching for you physically. They are reaching for your spirit, and their embrace will speak everything their words never fully could. You will remember the lonely nights, the tears you shed quietly wondering if a love like this truly exists. You will remember hoping for someone who would hold you and simply not let go. And this is that answer, arriving quietly, not with anything dramatic, but through steady arms that choose to stay, a heartbeat that does not waver, a spirit that says clearly, I choose you. This embrace will steady you. It will remind you that love did not forget you, even during the seasons when it felt that way. This person is approaching gently, aware of how tender your heart has been through everything you have carried. They are not rushing you. They simply want to truly see you. Words may not even be necessary, because your eyes, your presence, your energy will say enough, and their spirit will understand completely. You will both feel wrapped in something that feels bigger than either of you, something sacred that has clearly been shaping itself quietly behind the scenes. This embrace will feel like coming back to a sense of purpose, and suddenly so much will start to make sense again. Old weight will lift, old pain will soften. You will feel new again, as if this one moment is gently rewriting a difficult chapter of your story. It will not matter where this happens, whether it is somewhere ordinary or somewhere quiet and unplanned. What matters is not the place, but the presence. And when they finally say, I missed you, you will understand that it was never just time they missed. It was you, the real, honest version of you that has been waiting patiently to be fully seen. If your heart has felt dry from waiting so long, let this be a gentle confirmation that you are closer to relief than you realize. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not invisible even on days it has felt that way. Something good has quietly been placed on its way to you, and it is coming closer than your doubts can see, and gentler than your fears could ever resist. When it finally arrives, you may find yourself simply whispering, thank you. I waited, and it was worth it. This person is not coming to impress you with grand gestures. They are coming to genuinely connect, to be present rather than perfect. Their embrace will not be about romance alone. It will be about restoration, about healing parts of you that have quietly flinched from old wounds for far too long. They will hold you as though they somehow understand your pain because in a spiritual sense, in many ways, they truly do. This closeness is not random or forced. It is something aligned, something that no amount of distance, delay, or doubt could truly separate once it was time. You may not fully understand why the wait was so long, but the moment this embrace finally happens, so much of it will begin to make sense. The quiet in-between time had its own purpose. The waiting carried its own weight. And now, all of that quiet effort is finally turning into meaningful movement. They are not simply coming to meet you. They are coming to remind you that love can be safe, that someone truly can stay, that closeness does not always have to end in loss. When their arms finally wrap around you, old doubts about your worth, your value, and your place in this story will start to lose their grip, because real love has a gentle way of correcting false beliefs we have carried for too long. You will feel this shift not only in a passing emotional way, but somewhere deeper, somewhere steady. This person will not ask you to perform, to impress, or to shrink yourself down. They will simply ask you to rest, to breathe, and to be exactly who you are. In that quiet moment, you will understand what it feels like to be met by something that has been quietly working in your favor all along, by someone who truly sees the best in you. Let your heart soften as you read this. Whisper to yourself if you need to, I am ready. I believe something good is coming. My heart is open. Let that be enough for now. You are not preparing for another disappointment, dear one. You are preparing for something that finally feels complete, for an embrace that will not let go too soon, for love that does not retreat the moment things get real, for a connection that finally feels clear instead of confusing. The next chapter of your story is closer than it may feel right now. This person never imagined they would feel this deeply about anyone. Yet somehow you changed something quiet inside them, a rhythm they did not know they were missing. They have awakened a kind of warmth they cannot fully explain, and they are done pretending they do not care, done trying to make peace with a life that does not include you because they simply cannot. You were never a passing thought to them, and you were never a temporary feeling either. You were something far more lasting, the kind of encounter that does not fade quietly into the background, but instead keeps gently burning and leading them back toward you. You have likely sensed their presence approaching even before it fully arrived. Even when nothing around you seemed to be moving, that quiet sense was not your imagination. It was preparation, a slow, steady process shaping your heart for what is coming. Soon, you may hear a knock, feel an embrace, and feel every lingering fear that told you this would never happen simply melt away. Everything has its own perfect timing, and that timing is becoming clearer and closer with each day that passes. Something that once felt impossible is beginning to align in ways you can finally start to see. This person is not coming to explain every detail or every delay. They are coming to show you, through their presence, through honesty they once held back, through every quiet moment of closeness they secretly longed for. You have been, and continue to be, a safe place they never stopped believing in, even during the times they stayed away out of fear rather than indifference. Now, they are ready to return, not as someone lost, but as someone who finally understands exactly where their heart belongs. This reunion will not simply be sweet. It will feel deeply meaningful, because what is built on something true and steady does not easily fall apart in confusion. If anything, it only grows stronger with time. Even the delays, even the detours, even the long stretches of silence have quietly been working together to shape this very moment. This person is making their way toward you, and the path is being made smoother with every step, not just bringing them to you, but bringing them with clarity, courage, and real commitment. So let your spirit soften a little as you read this. Stretch your sense of hope, even if it feels unfamiliar. Picture it gently, arms wrapping around you, maybe tears in both your eyes, a quiet peace settling into the space between you. And finally, that unspoken ache inside you turning into something real and tangible. What is truly meant to come together has a way of staying together, no matter how much distance, delay, or doubt tries to get in the way. This embrace is more than a simple moment. It is a kind of quiet joining, two hearts finally settling into the same rhythm. A soft yes that has already been spoken long before either of you said it out loud. You may not fully understand why it took this long to arrive, but the moment you are finally held, so much of it will start to make sense on its own. Their quiet season had a purpose. Their waiting carried real weight, and now their movement toward you carries something like quiet devotion. They are not simply coming to see you. They are coming to remind you that love can be safe, that someone truly can choose to stay, and that closeness does not always have to end the way it did before. There is a gentle kind of healing that comes with being truly held, the kind that softens old wounds without needing to relive every detail of them. This embrace will carry that same softness. It will remind you that your heart, even the parts that have felt broken or worn down, is being cared for slowly and steadily in a way that actually lasts. Dear soul, if you've been waiting and praying for that beautiful moment when your soulmate finally comes close and you feel their arms around you, take this moment to honor the love you're believing for. The bond between soulmates is precious, and sometimes the waiting season can feel vulnerable to negativity, doubt, envy, or the evil eye from the world around us, even when no harm is intended. If your heart is calling you to cover this connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and protection, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide your long-awaited reunion in the right time and in the right way. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, hope, love, and divine guidance. Let's continue with my angel's message. You did not force this. You did not chase it desperately or manipulate your way toward it. You simply stayed faithful. You stayed open to love, even after certain moments tried hard to close your heart. That is exactly why this moment carries so much weight, because it was never only about romance. It has always been about something being restored to you after a long, quiet wait. Do not let go of your quiet confidence now, because what is coming is worth far more than the wait ever cost you. That reward is on its way, not only as another person, but as a steady presence, one that holds you, listens closely to you, truly sees you, chooses you, and stays. This coming embrace will feel like a quiet confirmation that your tears were noticed, that your prayers, hopes, or quiet wishes were heard and are being answered with real care. It will not feel small or rehearsed. It may come with trembling hands, with eyes that finally reveal what words were once too afraid to say out loud. I missed you. I see you now. I am not letting go. That embrace will help release old weight from your heart. It will soften hardened places inside you. It will remind you that none of your waiting was wasted. It was simply part of something being carefully arranged. This is not only about apology. It is about alignment, about anchoring something that once felt broken and making it right again. Even if this person's journey to you was messy or uncertain at times, what matters now is that their direction is clear. You are the place they have quietly been making their way back to. Do not second-guess this anymore. Do not assume you imagined the quiet signs you have felt. Do not let fear convince you that it is somehow too late, because it is not. It is arriving exactly on time. This person is moving toward you, not out of pressure, but out of something closer to quiet devotion, hope, and care, both theirs and yours. The closeness you are about to feel is not only physical. It runs deeper than that. It feels like a quiet acknowledgement that says, "Well done for waiting. Now, receive." This is your invitation to trust again, to believe again, to open your arms, because theirs are already reaching in your direction. Every tear you have quietly cried has been noticed. Every hard night you got through on your own has been seen, even when it felt like no one was watching. Nothing about your sorrow has gone unnoticed, and nothing about your patience has gone unrewarded. There is a comfort coming that will feel like every one of those quiet tears is finally being gently wiped away, replaced with something steadier, something warmer, something that finally feels like relief after a long stretch of holding on. This is not just about someone stepping back into your life. It is about closure, clarity, and a kind of steady commitment that says plainly, I am staying. This person has quietly practiced patience of their own, learning slowly how to hold someone with real care and respect. You are worth that kind of care. You are worth the wait it took to get here. And somewhere along the way, they came to understand that fully. When this embrace finally happens, any lingering uncertainty either of you has carried will begin to settle. Fear will loosen its grip. Doubt will grow quiet. This is part of why the moment feels so significant, not simply because closeness is arriving, but because your heart is finally getting the chance to fully exhale after holding its breath for so long. You are not too much, and you are not hard to love. You are not behind where you are supposed to be, and you have not been forgotten in this story. You were simply being kept gently and carefully, for an embrace that would actually honor you the way you deserve, for a love shaped by real care rather than a passing spark of interest. And when this person finally reaches you, when they hold you close, with real emotion in their eyes, something quiet will settle over the whole moment, like this exact reunion was written into your story long before you ever lived it. Nothing about your waiting was wasted. Every quiet tear, every hard night, was noticed and gently kept, so that someone with good, honest intentions could help ease the ache that came before. This embrace will feel like something promised finally being delivered, the start of quiet hopes slowly becoming real, of love finally showing up in a way you can actually feel and touch, rather than just imagine. Whisper it gently to yourself if it feels true in your spirit right now. My arms are ready. This embrace will feel steady and true. What is coming for me is arriving with real healing in its hands. That embrace is not just coming. It is close now. And when it finally happens, something gentle and beautiful will settle over both of you. This person has quietly rehearsed this moment, not so much in words, but in longing, thinking about it again and again in silence, in quiet reflection, in hopeful moments before sleep. Because this embrace will not simply be a greeting. It will feel like release, a release from shame, a release from fear, a release from ever needing to be perfect for someone to stay. They are not trying to impress you. They want to genuinely connect with you. And when their arms finally reach around you, you will feel it clearly. That they came in peace. That they came with real intention. That they came because what they feel would not let them stay away any longer. They did not come to impress your mind. They came to comfort your spirit, and somehow you will simply know it is real. You will feel it in how your heart settles, how everything around you seems to slow down for just a moment. There is a time for almost everything in life, a time to hold back, and a time to finally embrace, a time to stay guarded, and a time to let your guard down completely. For a long while, you may have been in the season of holding back, protecting your heart, staying cautious because caution felt safer than hope. But that season is shifting now. This is quickly becoming your season to embrace, fully and without apology. This is your time to embrace what is coming, without holding back, without hiding how happy you feel, without pretending you do not want this, because you do, and so does this other person. This moment will carry the weight of quiet hope you have carried for a long time, waves of reassurance that good timing has not failed you after all. This is not only about being hugged. It is about finally feeling safe, without needing long explanations, just the simple warmth of someone who has genuinely come home to you. You will not need to ask if it is real. You will feel the answer clearly, in their presence, in their stillness, in the unhurried way they hold the moment. This will not feel rushed, because it is meaningful, arranged carefully, not for show, but for something closer to real healing and closeness. The timing is becoming right, dear one. Not a moment too soon and not a moment too late. This moment has been quietly protected and prepared, and it is close to becoming real. If any part of this message has confirmed something your spirit already sensed, let yourself feel it fully, without needing anyone else's permission. While you wait for this moment to fully arrive, let yourself keep living your life with an open heart instead of a guarded one. You do not need to chase this, search anxiously for it, or try to control how or when it happens. You simply need to stay soft, stay hopeful, and keep trusting that what is meant for you is already finding its way. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do while waiting is to keep showing up gently for your own life, trusting that the rest is being carefully arranged. If old fear tries to creep back in and whisper that this is too good to be true, or that you have somehow misread the signs, gently set that fear aside. Fear rarely tells the full story. It tends to focus only on what could go wrong, while quietly ignoring everything that has already been lining up in your favor. You are allowed to choose hope instead, again and again, especially on the days it feels hardest to do so. Think back for a moment on how far you have already come. Think about the versions of yourself that got through hard seasons without any guarantee that things would get easier, yet somehow you kept going anyway. That same quiet strength is still with you now, carrying you through this final stretch of waiting. You are closer to the other side of it than you may realize. And when this embrace finally happens, let yourself receive it fully, without shrinking, without over-explaining, without holding a part of yourself back out of old habit. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing slow down. Let yourself simply be held, exactly as you are, without needing to prove anything or perform for anyone. That is what real, lasting closeness feels like. Simple, steady, and completely unforced. Take a slow breath now, and simply sit with this feeling for a moment. Whatever you have been quietly hoping for, know this: your arms will not stay empty for long. Something good, something patient, something worth every bit of the wait is making its way to you. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.